Okay, so imagine this. You're the Landon Hotel, right? And you're trying to get those online bookings up, get those rooms filled.
Right.
You've heard all the buzz about AdWords, how it's the way to go.
Yeah.
But then you actually start looking into it
Mm-hmm.
and figuring out that budget. It's like, whoa, hold on. Feels like you need a PhD in algorithms just to get started.
It can definitely feel overwhelming, yeah.
Exactly. So that's what we're diving into today, folks. AdWords budgeting, demystified. We're going to break it down, give you the tools to make it work for you, for
Yeah.
Linden Hotel, for everyone. So no more freaking out about those bids and budgets. We've got you.
Exactly. We're going to unpack the essentials, give you some actionable strategies to make those AdWords dollars really count.
Yeah.
No more throwing money at the screen and hoping for the best. Exactly.
Speaking of making those dollars count, let's talk about LTV for a sec. I know it's kind of a buzzword, but it's important, right? Lifetime value. Why does that even matter when we're talking about AdWords?
It's huge EE. And it's not just about knowing the number. It's about really understanding what it means for your business.
Mhm.
It's about playing the long game.
Mm.
Like every time someone books a stay at, say, the Landon Hotel, it's not just about the profit from that one stay, right? It's about the potential.
A lifetime, yeah.
The repeat visits, maybe they upgrade to a suite next time, grab a drink at the bar, all
It
that.
adds up.
Exactly. So say the average profit per night at the Landon is, let's say, $100. And guests usually stay for an average of 3 nights. Boom, that's a $300 LTV. And suddenly, you're not just thinking about making a quick buck. You're thinking about investing in a long-term relationship with that customer.
Right, because that one customer could be worth $300 in the long run if you play your cards right. So that changes how much you might be willing to spend to actually get them in the door, right?
Exactly. And that's where CPA comes in, cost per acquisition. It's like your guiding star for budgeting.
Okay.
It's the maximum you're willing to spend to bring in that new customer to get that first booking.
So for our Landon Hotel example, with that $300 LTV, what would be a good CPA to aim for?
A good rule of thumb is about 1/3 of your LTV. So in this case, around $100. So you're spending $100 to acquire a customer who could potentially bring in $300 over their lifetime.
Which means you're still coming out ahead, ideally, right?
Absolutely. And that brings us to the million-dollar question, the one everyone wants to know. How much do you actually pay per click to hit those numbers? See, you might be tempted to just set your cost per click, your CPC, to that $100 CPA and call it a day.
Right. Just be like, here's $100, Google, give me a customer.
Yeah, but it doesn't quite work like that. There's a catch. Not every single click on your ad is going to turn into a booking,
True.
right? You could have people just browsing, comparing prices.
Maybe they clicked on the ad by accident.
Exactly. So how do we account for those real-world conversion rates?
Right.
Because not every click is created equal.
Yeah, how do we figure out what percentage of those clicks actually become paying guests?
You got it. That's the magic question. And here's the thing. For the Landon, say their website, on average, converts about 8% of visitors into actual bookings. That's a pretty good rate.
Yeah.
Okay. But here's the thing. Traffic from paid ads, it tends to convert a little lower. People clicking on ads are often at a different stage in their decision-making process.
They might be just starting their research.
Exactly. So let's be a little more conservative and assume a 4% conversion rate for their AdWords campaign specifically.
So they need more clicks to get that booking.
Exactly. We're talking 25 visitors on average to get one booking at that 4% rate.
Okay, so let me get this straight. If they're aiming for that $100 CPA and we figure they need 25 visitors to get a booking, that means, hold on, let me do the math here. Oh, okay, I see it. They can only afford to spend $4 per click. Is that right?
You got it. That $4 becomes their maximum CPC, their cost per click.
Wow. Okay, so it all comes
Right.
down to the math. Who knew?
It does. Every dollar counts. Every click counts. But remember, it's not just about crunching numbers. It's about understanding the strategy behind it.
Right, and this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh,
right?
yeah. We've got a lot more to unpack.
We've got CPC figured out, but what about setting the actual daily budget? How do we even begin to tackle that?
Well, let's dive into that next.
Okay, so we've got our $4 maximum CPC for the Landon Hotel, right? But something tells me, in the real world, it's not always so neat and tidy.
You got it.
Yeah.
It's not like we can just say, okay, 25 clicks, boom, one booking every time.
Right, because Google Ads, it's an auction.
Right. Exactly. You're not just setting a price and it's a done deal.
It's like a bidding war.
Pretty much. You're bidding against other hotels, all vying for that same customer, those same eyeballs on their ads.
So even though our $4 is the target, that actual cost per click, it can fluctuate.
Oh, absolutely. It depends on a bunch of factors, how competitive those keywords are.
Right, like hotel near me is probably way more competitive than
Way more, yeah.
something super specific.
And the quality of your ads matters too, of course.
Oh, right. So if your ad is super enticing, maybe you can get away with.
You might snag a lower CPC, yeah. It's Google's way of rewarding good ad copy.
That makes sense. So it's like the better your ad, the less you might have to pay per click.
Sometimes, yeah. But then on the flip side, you might be bidding against some real heavy hitters.
Hotels with huge budgets.
Exactly. And they're willing to shell out big bucks for those top spots.
So it's like a balancing act, right? Between getting the most clicks for your budget, but
It's
also,
making sure those are the right clicks.
right, clicks that actually turn into bookings.
Quality over quantity, always.
Okay, so how do we even begin to think about setting a daily budget that aligns with all of this? Because this is where my brain starts to melt a little.
I hear you. It can definitely feel overwhelming. But let's break it down. So sticking with our Landon Hotel example, we're aiming for, what, at least 25 visitors per day to get that one booking at our $4 max CPC?
Right, and that's assuming everything goes perfectly.
Which it rarely does. So we want to build in some wiggle room, right? A little buffer to account for those fluctuations.
Okay, so we're not just going for the bare minimum.
Not if we can help it. I'd say aim for a range of 50 to 100 visitors per day.
So that's like double to quadruple the bare minimum, just to be safe.
It's not just about being safe. It's about giving your campaigns room to breathe. Some days might be more competitive. Some days you might get lucky with those lower CPCs.
So more visitors gives us a better chance of actually hitting that sweet spot for conversions.
Exactly. And it gives you more data to work with to see what's working, what's not.
Okay, that makes sense. So in terms of actual dollars and cents for that daily budget we're looking at.
Let's see, 50 to 100 visitors per day at a $4 maximum CPC. That puts us somewhere between $200 and $400 per day.
$200 to $400, that's a pretty decent chunk of change.
It is. But remember, this is an investment. And compared to the potential return, that $300 LTV for each new customer.
It's not as scary as it sounded at first.
Exactly. And the beauty is you can always adjust as you go. Start with that $200 to $400 range, track your results, and then you can tweak things, up or down.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah.
So we've gone from LTV to CPA to figuring out that maximum CPC, and now we even have a daily budget. It's like it all connects.
It does, like pieces of a puzzle.
A very expensive puzzle.
Maybe,
Oh.
but a puzzle that can really pay off big time if you know how to put it together.
So I guess the next piece of the puzzle is how do we make sure those clicks are coming from the right people, the people who actually want to stay at a place like the Landon Hotel?
You're thinking about keywords now.
Yeah.
And you're right. That's where things get really interesting.
Okay, hit me with it. What do we need to know about keywords?
Keywords, keywords, keywords. It feels like everyone's always talking about keywords, but I'll be honest, I'm still not 100% sure I get it.
Well, think of it this way. Keywords are like those little tags you put on your luggage, right?
To make sure they end up at the right baggage claim.
Exactly. They tell Google, hey, this is for people searching for this specific thing.
Okay, so if I'm searching for, like, boutique hotel with a rooftop bar, and the Landon Hotel has tagged their ads with those exact words.
Boom. Your search matches their keywords, and their ad pops up. You're way more likely to click on that than on something super generic, right?
Right. Because I'm obviously not looking for just any old hotel. I want that rooftop bar. I want that boutique experience. Exactly. It's all about relevance. If the Landon Hotel was just using really broad keywords like hotel or accommodations,
they'd be competing with, like, every hotel in the world.
pretty much, and wasting a ton of money showing their ads to people who are looking for, like, a cheap motel by the highway.
Not exactly their target market.
Not even close. That's why getting those keywords right is so crucial. It's about being specific, Think about the actual words your ideal guest is typing into that search bar.
So instead of casting a wide net and hoping for the best, we're using keywords to get laser focused on the right people.
Exactly. It's about attracting those high-value guests who are actually interested in what the Landon Hotel has to offer. Those are the clicks that count.
So instead of just a generic hotel, we're talking about keywords like, give me some examples.
Think luxury hotel near Central Park or romantic getaway package in New York City.
Okay, so those are pretty specific. I can see how that would weed out a lot of the less relevant searches.
Exactly. And these are what we call long-tail keywords. They're longer, more specific phrases that people search for when they have a really good idea of what they want.
So instead of trying to rank for hotel, which everyone and their mother is bidding on, you're going for these niche keywords, the ones that really speak to your ideal guest.
You got it. It's about working smarter, not harder, and getting the absolute most out of your AdWords budget. Because every click costs money, right?
And we want to make sure those clicks are counting, that they're turning into actual bookings, actual guests walking through the doors of the Landon Hotel.
Precisely. It's all connected, right? From that big picture LTV to your CPA goals, your maximum CPC, and now zeroing in on those perfect keywords.
Wow, we really covered a lot of ground today. I feel like we went from feeling totally lost in the weeds of AdWords to having a real game plan.
That's what we're here for, to demystify the process, give you the tools and the knowledge to take control of your AdWords campaigns.
Because knowledge is power, especially when it comes to online advertising.
Absolutely. And the more you learn, the more you experiment, the better you'll become at navigating this whole AdWords world.
So to wrap things up, what's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
Don't be afraid to dive in and get your hands dirty. Test things out, analyze your results, and don't be afraid to adjust your campaigns as you go. AdWords is all about learning and adapting.
I love that. It's not a set it and forget it kind of thing. It's an ongoing process.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so exciting. There's always something new to learn, something new to try.
Well, on that note, I think we've earned ourselves a nice, relaxing stay at a boutique hotel with a rooftop bar, preferably one with a killer AdWords campaign.
Sounds good to me.
Until next time, everyone, happy advertising.